Have you ever really stopped to think about just how incredible your body is? It's this ridiculously complex, bustling city with trillions of cells all working together. And somehow, through all of that chaos, it keeps this perfect internal balance day in and day out. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the amazing process that makes all of that possible. So, how in the world does it do that, right? How does your body just know to make you shiver when it's cold or sweat when it's hot? How does it manage your energy after a huge meal or, when you've had to skip lunch? That's the big question we're diving into. And the answer? Well, it's a truly brilliant biological process. And that secret is a master plan called homeostasis. The best way to think about it is like it's the internal government for the city that is your body. It's this whole system of checks and balances making sure every single cell has exactly what it needs to not just survive, but to thrive. It keeps the whole city running smoothly. Now, here's the most important thing to get about homeostasis. It's not about being static or staying completely still. It's what we call a dynamic equilibrium. Think of it less like a statue and more like a tightrope walker, constantly making these tiny little adjustments to stay perfectly balanced, reacting to everything happening inside and outside, and keeping things like your temperature and your blood sugar in that perfect sweet spot. Okay, so this government has two main roles it follows, and they're called feedback loops. Most of the time, almost all the time, it uses negative feedback. This is all about stability. It's just like the thermostat in your house. When the room gets warm enough, it shuts the heat off. It reverses the change. But every once in a while, the body needs to push something all the way to the finish line. And that's where the much rarer positive feedback comes in. It actually amplifies a change. The reason it's so rare is because it's pretty unstable, but it's perfect for certain big events, like childbirth. Now, to keep this city clean and balanced, you absolutely need a top-notch sanitation department, and that is the job of the excretory system. But it's not just about taking out the trash. It's also about managing the city's most precious resource, water. And the superstars of this system? Your kidneys. These things are absolute powerhouses. Get this, they filter all of your blood about 16 times every single day. That is an enormous job. They're constantly making these split-second decisions about what to keep and what to toss out, making sure your blood has that perfect mix of water, salts, and nutrients. So how do they pull it off? Well, let's zoom way in, down to the nephron. It's like a tiny, microscopic water treatment plant. And it works in 3 stages. First up is filtration, where basically everything small, water, salts, waste, gets squeezed out of the blood. Then comes the really critical step, reabsorption. This is where the body very carefully pulls all the good stuff back, like most of the water and glucose. And finally, there's secretion. This is like a last quality check, actively pumping any leftover junk into the fluid. And what you're left with is clean blood and a little bit of concentrated waste we all know as urine. But here's the thing. The kidneys don't just act on their own. They need instructions. And this is where the endocrine system comes in. It's the body's long-range postal service, sending these chemical messages, we call them hormones, through the bloodstream to tell all the different parts of the city what to do. This chart here is a fantastic little cheat sheet for this postal service. You can see how different glands are like different post offices, sending out very specific messages. The pancreas sends out insulin to deal with sugar, the adrenal glands send adrenaline for emergencies. But for our story today, the one you really want to watch is right at the bottom, the pituitary gland. It sends out a super important memo called ADH, and its one and only destination is the kidneys. All right, so we've met the cleanup crew and we've met the messengers. Now, let's see them in action. This is where it all comes together in just a perfect display of teamwork between the endocrine and excretory systems. Okay, so picture this. You just finished a really tough workout. You're sweating, you're losing water fast. An alarm goes off deep inside your city hall, your brain. Your body is officially getting dehydrated and it needs to hang on to every single drop of water it has left. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. That alarm in the brain makes the pituitary gland send out that urgent message, the hormone ADH. ADH zips through the bloodstream straight to the kidneys with one simple command: save water. The kidneys get the message and their tubules immediately become more absorbent. They literally open up more channels to pull water back into the blood. The result? Exactly what the body needed. You lose less water in your urine and your water balance is restored. It's a textbook negative feedback loop in action. Just beautiful. So, what happens when this perfectly tuned system breaks down? When the communication lines get crossed, or the cleanup crew gets overwhelmed, well, the whole city faces a crisis. And this is actually the root of a lot of diseases. Take diabetes, for instance. That's a failure of the endocrine system to manage blood sugar. Or kidney stones, where the excretory system's filtration process gets physically blocked. Then you have things like hyperthyroidism, which is what happens when the thyroid gland sends out way too many speed-up messages, throwing the body's whole metabolism into overdrive. All of these conditions really show just how vital this quiet, constant balancing act really is for our health. So, we've seen how this incredible automatic system is just working tirelessly for you 24/7 in the background. It's this constant collaboration to maintain that perfect balance. And that kind of leaves us with one last thought, right? Knowing all of this, how can the choices you make every day, what you eat, how much water you drink, how you move your body, how can those choices help this amazing system do its job even better?